I was mediating. There was no crossfire.
Thanks for saving us, Shelley. All right, let's go ahead and begin. We appreciate you all being here this morning. Thank you for being with us today on our regular meeting of the Board of Weber County Commissioners. Today is Tuesday, the 7th day of July of 2015. We welcome all who are here in person and welcome those as well who are watching online as well. And we continue to remind and encourage that that's an available option. If there are any who cannot make it in person, you can always go to our YouTube channel and watch these proceedings live as they unfold. And of course, you can always go back and watch previous episodes as well. That's not the right word, but it kind of fits, right? All right. Sounds good. All right, we'll begin with our invocation offered by Commissioner Ebert, Pledge of Allegiance, led today by one of our new attorneys, Cortland Erickson. Thank you for volunteering to do that, Mr. Erickson. Appreciate that. Our thought of the day, twice in a row by Commissioner Bell. We'll go to that point. Commissioner Ebert.
Our kind, gracious Heavenly Father, we humbly bow our head in prayer and give thanks for this wonderful country that we live in. We're grateful for the opportunity to serve as elected officials, and we ask that your Spirit will abide with us today as we make decisions that will affect the citizens of this county. We ask you to strengthen us, guide us, and direct us in all things. We're grateful for the Savior and for the example that he is in our lives, and we ask that as we go throughout our days, we will have a spirit of service, that we'll have a spirit of kindness, and a spirit of gentleness. And we ask for these prayers and blessings in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Please stand and repeat the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our thought today is do not underestimate simple kindness. Too often we underestimate the power of a touch, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an honest compliment, or the smallest act of caring, all of which have the potential to turn a life around. There you go.
Absolutely true. Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate that. All right, just one item that I wanted to bring up before we go on with our consent items, and that is next week we have a conflict at our regular 10 o'clock meeting, but would like to still hold a commission meeting. Dave, is it appropriate? I wanted to do that here so that we could make sure that the public would know of a change, but would it be appropriate for us to do the meeting later in the day that day? That's not. So we'll make that notice obvious as we send that out. But we're thinking 2 o'clock in the afternoon to get us through those morning conflicts. Does that sound okay with everyone? Wanted to bring it up here as well for staff to make sure that they knew that would be okay. Fatima, would that be okay with you? Okay.
Not going to happen if
Shelley, Javis. Absolutely. All right. So commissioners, do you have any thoughts about that or concerns? Sounds good. We'll schedule next week's meeting for 2 p.m. All right, we'll move to our consent items. Item number 1 is request for approval of purchase orders in the amount of $55,213.56. Request for approval of warrants number 322677 through 322853 in the amount of $1,032,908.26. Request for approval of new business licenses. Request for ratification of right-of-way contracts by and between Weber County and the following property owners. Terry L. Tedder and Kathy F. Tedder of 1440 South, 3500 West, parcel number 127. Okay, commissioners, those are your consent items today. Ricky, clerk auditor, do you have any updates or any specifics you'd like to share with us on the POs? Or
you bet. Our purchase orders for this week were quite small. There were only 19 POs issued for a total of $55,000. 36% of that amount, or $20,000, went to the jail for gloves and supplies. 16%, or $9,000, is to landfill for temporary staffing, and 13%, or $7,000, went to IT for software maintenance. As far as checks go, 177 checks this week for about $1 million. 46%, 177,000 of that is for the library for carpet and architectural services. 10%, or 100,000, goes to the jail, mostly for food services. 7% or $69,000 went to the landfill, primarily for roof repairs. And 6% or $66,000 are 2 ramp awards, one to Hooper for their portable amphitheater and to Ogden Ranger District for the Skyline Trail.
Great.
That's it.
Thank you, Ricky. Appreciate those explanations. Questions from the commission?
Well, I'll throw out there, one of the first costs we had is this temporary staffing, and this time of the year, that transfer station landfill is extremely busy as people are working through projects in the yard, so, yeah, you know, we're gonna see some of that temporary staffing needs. And again, just as a reminder, we have there are large numbers, but some of that is grant pass-through, some of it, you know, we serve as a pass-through agency from the county perspective, and so a lot of these funds end up being expensed through us, but they're not our expenses, you know, when we have projects like the library. So those numbers get kind of scary, but if you understand where that money's going and that the county works as a pass-through agency, sometimes it you know, kind of takes a little bit of that concern off, I guess I would say. So anyway, thank you.
Yeah, it's great when we get the opportunity to collect those taxes for all those agencies. We just don't get to spend
Keep it.
Interesting. Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate that.
I can just throw this out here really quick. Did we changed it from Carrie to Terry? We want to make sure we use the correct name, sir. All right.
We're good to go.
Thank you, Chair.
All right. Is there any other questions or comments on the consent items or anything you'd like to have pulled and discussed in more detail?
Well, I just think that it was interesting. We've got 4 new business licenses, and it's always good to get new people and get new business licenses there. And one of them is a gluten-free bakery up in the valley. They've got a business license, and I think they're going to get very busy with that up there. There's some, it's nice to see some folks doing business with us and doing business in the county, so it's great. So
Absolutely. Good point. Thank you. All right, motion?
I'll make a motion that we adopt the consent items as read.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second before us then to adopt and approve those consent items as read. Is there any further discussion of the motion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes. Thank you. Mrs. Graham has asked if we would hold item number 1, discussion and or action on the North Fork Park master plan. That is, she was unable to be here today and wanted to be here to present that, so we will hear that at our next commission meeting, or one in the near future, depending on her availability. So we'll move to item number 2, which is a request for approval of a contract by and between Weber County and Granite Construction for 3500 West roadway improvements. And Mr. Anderson, our county engineer, is up on this one today. Welcome, Jared.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is a contract, as you've read, between Granite Construction and Weber County. These funds were obtained through WACOG. We've been working on the design of this project and right-of-way for quite some time, and got all the right-of-way wrapped up and designs ready to go and put this out to bid, and Granite Construction has won that. So they are ready to do the work. We're getting the contract currently reviewed. We asked that you sign the contract currently. There's just some minor items that, and I've discussed this with Dave, that we just need to clarify. And then once that's clarified, then they'll sign that. So we ask that you sign it today with condition on approval through the attorney's office.
I'm just curious, Jared, what was the activity like on this bid process? It seems like there's some hungry contractors, and I was hoping that there was quite a few apply for this.
Yeah, what we did on this work, because of the size of the project, we actually did what was called pre-qualification. So we wanted to make sure that any contractor that went after this work had done roadway projects similar to this size. I believe we had either 2 or 3 contractors that pre-qualified for that, and then once they pre-qualified, then we had them bring the bids in, and we actually came in about 10% below the estimate. So it was a good bid, and save a little bit of money there by coming in under that estimate. So
You can use that to help elsewhere.
yes,
Total cost of the bid.
1.8 million, plus or minus. I don't know after the 8, but 1.8.
And that is just for phase one, right?
Correct. That's phase one, which would be from the county line, which is about, I think it's at 3,300 south. No, 3,300 south to intersection. I think it's 3,500 south, right around there, to Canesville Elementary. So that'll be for that phase.
So I had some time to spend with the mayor of West Haven over at their West Haven Days celebration a couple of weeks ago. And believe me, they're still harassing us for being so slow to get to match their roadway, and it's good to see this project on the way. It's long overdue. Okay, Jared, we appreciate that. So can you give us a real quick idea on time frame as to when this might start and how long
Yeah,
it would take?
what the tentative schedule is, they'd like to actually get the road paved by the time school opens in August. They don't want to have to deal with that school opening. So what they would do is it would be paved, but then they would come and put in we've got some curb and gutter and sidewalk that we're putting in, and they'd come and do that after the fact. So they're being pretty aggressive, and they're hoping they can get it paved. I told them once school opens, we have to have at least one lane of traffic open at all times. So they're aware of that schedule. They know it's a busy road. They know it's even busier when the school's open. So they're going to try and meet that schedule.
Good. Wow, that's great. If that can happen, that'd be wonderful.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Jared. Any other questions from the commission? Okay, motion then.
Contracts?
285.
This is all just one contract? Make a motion that we adopt contract 285, entering into a right-of-way.
No, it's the
Oops,
one
sorry.
above it, item 2.
Sorry. I make a motion we adopt contract 285, entering into a contract by and between Weber County and Granite Construction for the 3500 West roadway improvement.
Can I get a second to that?
I second it.
Okay, we do have a motion and a second then before us. Discussion to the motion. Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It passes. Thank you, Jared. You're still up for a minute.
Yes.
This is a request for approval of right-of-way contracts by and between Weber County and the following property owners: Blaine Wade and Eileen Wade, MCS Holdings, Carlos and Maria Soto, Timothy Stephen McKisson, and Kitty Joe McKisson. And it looks like they were a mix, a little bit between one of them looks like 3500 West. Like we got a little bit of 12th Street there. A little bit of
Yes.
everything.
Yeah, and there's a couple addresses there. They've got to be the actual addresses of the parcel owner. So they might own property on 12th Street or 3500 and have an address elsewhere. But it is a combination of 3500 West and 12th Street from this last week. Those are the contracts that have come through.
Okay, great. So just to remind everyone, we had an awful lot of those that we had as a ratification here a couple of weeks ago, and now they're bringing them to us as ahead of time as we go. So all of these are the result of this week. So we appreciate the effort that is going on there, and that, again, to that 3500 project, that's neat to see. We bid the first section, but the rest will be finished all the way to 12th Street, and we're looking forward to that. So, all right, commissioners, any other questions? Jared on this one? Okay, motion?
What's the contract number?
286.
286.
I'll make a motion, we accept contract number 286 for some, well, probably more than that. We
You want
probably
all,
have four
you
numbers,
want four
right?
numbers?
They're all different.
So 286, 7, 8, and 9.
Okay, 286, 287, 288, and 289, contract for right-of-way between Weber County and Blaine Wade and Eileen Wade, and MCS Holding, and Carlos Soto and Maria Soto, and Timothy Stephen McKinsey and Kitty Joe McKinsey.
McKisson.
McKisson.
All right, we have a motion. Do I have a
Second.
second, Commissioner? Motion and a second then, discussion. Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Thank you, Jared.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, the motion passes. Item number 4, request from the Recorder Surveyor's Office for approval to terminate the following parcel information numbers. I'm not gonna read those all individual, they're listed on the agenda, and I'm just gonna point out that some are listed because they were mapped incorrectly, some were listed because they were difference in legal descriptions, and some were listed because they were located directly underneath an existing public alley or roadway, and one because it was improperly created a holding strip. Hello, Deveron, good to see you.
Hi.
Morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for letting me present. First of all, I just want to give a huge thank you to the Clerk Auditor's Office. Every year they deal with tax parcels that are overly delinquent on taxes, and they have a huge task there that they tackle and handle very well. Lynn, Roger, and Tammy do an excellent job at that. And every year they give our office a list of parcels that they want us to review. We double check those parcels to ensure that but to get a second opinion on whether they actually exist or whether they're actually valid parcels. And this happens for various reasons, but this year we were able to identify these parcels listed. For the reasons listed, we believe that they should not be on the tax rolls and they should be mapped differently. So we are asking for your approval that we strike those from the tax record and avoid this process with those parcels that shouldn't be taxed in that way.
Okay. Any questions for Deveron on this one?
I couldn't correct you if I do. So it sounds like it
Seems
cleaned
like
everything up.
Seems like exactly what we need. Our agencies working together to get these things right, so we appreciate that. Anybody like to make a motion then?
Fatima, what action are we taking on this? Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve termination of the following parcels for the following reasons. They were mapped incorrectly. There's a different legal description. They were located directly underneath an existing public alley or right-of-way, or they improperly created a holding strip, and as they are listed as far as their identification numbers.
Can I get a second?
Second it.
Motion is second then to approve or to terminate those parcel numbers. Is there discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It passes. Okay,
Thank you,
Deveron,
Deveron.
you're still on for a couple more items here. We appreciate it. You're staying busy. Request from the Recorder Surveyor's Office for approval to execute 5 quitclaim deeds to property owners in the town of Uinta.
Thank you. This request came from Julie Brown of Commercial Real Estate Solutions. She and her clients that she represents identified some parcels in Uinta City that had been encumbered. On our tax parcel map, it actually shows that there's an easement that runs through their properties. But as we dug a little deeper and did some research, we actually found a quitclaim deed from 1930, which actually created a strip of land in favor of Weber County through these parcels back then. And it seems to be that since that time, this strip of land has been forgotten about, or the reason for the purpose of giving this strip of land to Weber County is unclear. It wasn't clear in the document, and from all the research we tried to do, we couldn't identify why this transaction happened. I worked closely with our engineering department and with the contracted engineer for Uinta City. The only possible explanation we could find is that perhaps this document was granted to Weber County in 1930, perhaps to maintain a water corridor. There's a spring creek that runs in the general direction of this strip of land through that area, but it doesn't seem necessary to maintain that strip of land anymore. With the current review processes that we go through when land gets developed, water courses such as Spring Creek get properly taken care of in those processes. So I made Uinta City aware of the situation. They agreed with me that if indeed this strip of land was intended to protect that water course will be adequately protected during development processes. And we all felt like there was no need to have this encumbrance on those private property owners' land anymore. So we are requesting that you will approve these quitclaim deeds that we can return this land back to the property owners and make their title whole.
How much land is it all total?
I'm not exactly sure. It's a 16 and a half foot strip for, I think it's 300 or 400 feet. So it's less than a quarter of an acre total.
Commissioner, it's your neighborhood. Have you got any insight to add?
Sounds good.
All right. Any other questions or comments for Deveron?
Devron, you said that the waterway will be protected. Whose responsibility is it to protect the waterway?
That will be Uinta City's responsibility, and they do that. They contract with Jones and Associates as their engineering contractor that reviews all of their development plans in that area.
And do we have that? Is that written in a document somewhere, or is that just an assumption that we make that they will protect the waterway?
I didn't get it written, but I verbally spoke with the engineer over at Jones and Associates, and he agreed with me that per current codes that were established in the 70s for subdivision and for development, those things get protected now. In 1930, there were no codes, and that's why we think the document was executed.
Okay, well, that's my only concern is that we need to have a document somewhere that as we give this right away back, that whoever the responsible agency or entity is, that they know legally in writing. I'm sure would there be something different with that, Mr. Wilson? Is that now in code somewhere?
In code, did they have to?
Yeah.
Once the property goes back to the property owner, then the city then is responsible to ensure the protection of the right-of-way, or the waterway, excuse me.
You say the right of way,
It's not a right of
It's
way.
the
in
wa-
this
the
case.
waterway.
It's a title. It's a fee title.
once the property owner has that,
Mr. Wilson, will you please?
you always want me to do that. So I'm not sure I'm clear on your question, then is it this, whose responsibility?
That's what my question is. So the easement was given to the county, or the property was given to the county to ensure protection of the waterway. And now we're returning that easement back to the property owners, who then is now responsible to protect that.
There, it would be the owner of the easement of that waterway, but the county's not in the water business, so
Correct.
Is there
I hope
is there
not.
a waterway going through there?
There is a waterway that runs in the general direction of this strip of land, but the document doesn't specifically say that's what it was for. That's just the assumption that those of us that have looked at it are assuming that's why it was granted, but we're still not even clear on that. But we are sure that through development processes, whether it's a subdivision or a site development, that it is in code now that those waterways need to be protected. And in the development process, the engineering firm that reviews for Uinta City would ensure that that gets protected.
You will ensure that that gets protected, but if the property owner owns it and there's no recorded easement there, then how is it protected, I guess is the question.
Well, if the property owner develops the land or does some sort of site plan for that property, then they have to get that approved through the city.
Require that as an exaction, is what you're saying.
Correct, yeah, just as we would in the county.
I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable. If Mr. Wilson says we're good, then we're good.
That's a lot of pressure, huh, Dave? Get used to it, my friend. It's pressure in here. All right. Well, I appreciate it. I get where you're coming from, Commissioner, and I share the same concerns, but I tend to feel okay about this one. It's hard because we don't like taking property when we need it for things like that, and yet by this, and I just assume it be in private hands anytime we can, but we don't want to have.
Yeah, and again, my concern isn't the property. My concern is protecting the waterway. And I know that if something isn't written or required in code or ordinance, then it actually doesn't exist.
The problem that happened here is he said waterway, and he's assuming, thinking maybe we don't even know if it's a waterway. That's where the issue, where we're getting all wrapped around the axle here. We don't know that it's a waterway. We don't know the reason they put it on there. We don't know, because in 1930, when they put it on there, they don't know why they put it on there. They didn't write why.
Which goes back to it needs to be written. That's what my concern is. So if we believe there's a waterway there that we believe we need to protect, then we need to make sure either through ordinance or statute or in writing contractually that we protect it.
Which
That's-
seems like a
But the
different
waterway's
process.
not there.
We-
It
but-
isn't actually there. They think maybe that's
Yeah, but that's
where it
not my-
may have been. But anyway, I think we're got wrapped around the
We're good.
axle on
I'm
something
done
that's just not the case.
Commissioner Bell has encouraged us to get out of the weeds here, so let's.
Yeah.
I'm out of the weeds.
And get out of the lake, because
I'm out of the waterway.
it's not a waterway.
Well, I'll make a motion then.
Wow, I'm sorry you confused them so much, but use the big crayons next time.
I'll try to be more clear next
Yeah,
time.
bring
Sorry.
the big crayons, because it'll be a lot easier.
It's not hard to do. All right, go ahead with the motion.
Are we going to, is this a contract? 5 quitclaim, no numbers? Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve an execution of 5 quitclaim deeds to property owners in the town of Uinta.
I'll second that
Wow, great.
gladly.
Discussion?
No, let's not discuss anymore.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It is approved. We'll issue the deeds. Okay, Devron, next is the request for approval to vacate a portion of an easement on 750 West 12th Street.
If I may, I apologize. This is kind of an ongoing process. I didn't have these maps until about yesterday afternoon, so.
I've seen that map before.
Yeah, version of it. Sorry.
Yeah, about 100 times.
What we're doing here, commissioners, is we are trying to create a legal buildable parcel to accommodate the state's desires to build a detention center just north of our survey complex. In 1999, there was a easement that was granted to all surrounding property owners that runs down the roadway, the current access to our jail. That easement, as it's described, it's the dotted area on the left side of your map. It runs down and it actually crosses into a corner of the parcel that we intend to create and sell to the state. So in an effort to hand over a piece of property that's unencumbered as possible to the state, we are just looking to vacate that portion of the easement that crosses into the corner of Lot 1 there.
Anywhere here.
Yeah. Would you like to? It's just
I'm not
that
talking about waterways anymore. You guys have
It's
been
just
rude
this
to me.
little piece right here. Just so you know, it's just that little tiny section right there. It's about 4 square feet, maybe.
It's a little bigger than that, but it's
Okay, not much.
yeah, it's quite insignificant. It's more of just cleaning up title.
Okay, great. Well, I'm way excited to get this project moving forward. We worked hard to help encourage the state to get this thing put together, and we're excited that they're moving forward on it. And yeah, we got to do everything we can to make it appropriate for them. So,
I have a question. Mr. Wilson, does this require an ordinance? No. Okay.
all right. So the motion then would be to vacate a portion of an easement at 750 West 12th Street. Can I have a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion that I request that we approve vacate a portion of an easement on 750 West 12th Street.
Second.
All right. Any discussion of that motion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The motion passes. Devron, appreciate your
Thank you
time.
very much.
Thanks for being here. Okay, item number 7, Sean Wilkinson, if you'll come up, this is a request for approval of a quitclaim deed of a property to the city of Washington Terrace. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
You saw something very similar back in March for South Ogden City. This is a portion of Adams Avenue that was originally given to the county back in 1896. And when the city's incorporated, for whatever reason, the road was not deeded to the cities at that time. So we're taking care of that today with this deed to Washington Terrace for the portion of Adams Avenue that is within their boundary. This has gone through the city council in Washington Terrace, and Mayor Allen has signed the quitclaim deed. So we are recommending approval at this time.
So does that include the bridge that's there? Or not?
You know, I've read the legal description, but I can't tell you that for sure. You'd have to ask Deborah on that.
Ron, you're sitting there.
In Exhibit B in your packet,
I see the map.
that is what is included in that quitclaim deed.
So did we take the Adams Parkway and did we split it in half? Well, we didn't split it in half. What part would we have given? Oh, we gave South Ogden's portion that's below 89.
Correct.
Is South Ogden's portion that went down there. And then the upper portion to at least probably the toll bridge.
Yes, is Washington Terrace.
Is Washington Terrace.
That's
But
correct.
you don't know if we went past the toll bridge or not.
I don't believe we went past the
Yeah.
toll bridge.
Okay, that's good. Because they've been maintaining and take care of them and everything anyway, just as they're their own roads.
That's correct. And it's been that way. They've
Because we haven't
maintained
been
it.
doing it county at all.
Correct. And that's why we want to give them the property and make sure that they're doing the maintenance so they own the
Yeah,
property.
gotcha. And is there a stream problem that needs to be taken care of or a waterway that we want to double check on?
Is it in writing? That's the
Yeah, and it
point.
better be in writing in
Better be in
15
writing.
years.
Everything is in writing.
There we go. I'm okay.
I'll make a motion, we approve quit claim deed of the property on Adams Avenue Parkway to City of Washington Terrace.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second then to approve that quitclaim deed to the city of Washington Terrace. Is there any discussion to that motion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? The motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sean, appreciate you. Last on our agenda, or next on our agenda, is the a request to approve the Weber Fire Marshal's notice of fire restrictions dated July 1st, 2015, with the noted restrictions to be effective beginning July 10th through August 31st, August 31st of 2015. I will just briefly explain what this does. The fire restrictions, as you probably are aware, fire restrictions for the unincorporated cities have the opportunity to create their own fire restrictions. Counties have to be created with the state fire marshal and the local fire agency with approval from the county legislative body. And so basically, we coordinate with Weber Fire, who coordinates with the state fire marshal. They make recommendations to us, which I think is the way that it should be, considering that they're the experts, and then they present to us their opinion. They had made a decision earlier on in the month that they felt like there was not justification for fireworks restrictions through the 4th of July. But as you remember, that decision was probably made the middle of June, and as you remember, about that time is when everything turned extremely hot and dry. And so even though they made the decision not to make those changes immediately, as the conditions changed, they wanted to update the response. And their recommendation at this time is that we do implement fireworks restrictions. So this is the unincorporated part of the county, east of Harrison Boulevard, basically. So most of the impact would be in the Upper Valley and in the Uinta Highlands. There would not be any impact to the west of that.
Well, and any impact along the foothills, along Ogden City's border, along the hills up there, that's all unincorporated county.
Absolutely, yeah. East of Harrison.
Right.
Just one point of interest, and that is that they are not recommending campfire restrictions at this time, as long as the campfires are in an approved campfire facility. So it would not affect. I've double checked twice now to make sure with our folks that run our parks and recreation. It would not affect campsites, campfire sites in Weber Memorial or the other one, North Fork Park. We found ourselves in a little bit of a pickle
Exactly.
here a couple of years ago, or maybe it was last year, when the state fire marshal basically it wasn't quite as concerned about our approval on this and implemented those restrictions. And then they did not implement the same restrictions on the federal property, on the Forest Service land.
Because they can't.
Because they can't. And so we had campfires going on all over the place in the valley on all the federal land, and ours were shut down. And we got some nasty phone calls from people saying, why are you being more restrictive than the federal government? So anyway, we're glad that they seem to have coordinated really well this year. We're very excited about it, and we think that it's important that we be consistent across the board with this message. The message is now that we need to be extremely careful with fireworks and with any kind of controlled, any kind of burning, not only from some of the issues that are surrounding air quality, but of course the risk of fire could just absolutely decimate our county if we let it get out of hand. So this is their recommendation, guys, to go ahead and implement this restriction starting July 10th and moving through August 31st. Do you have any questions of me on this?
No, but I think that it's a good thing to do. I just the other day I noticed that, just a little story, I'm going to tell a story this time.
Please do.
So we have a little farm out there, and we have tons of different kind of animals on it. You name it, it's on this farm. And there's a dog that watches over him, a great big old burly dog. And if you get in there and mess with any of the animals in there, he's not going to be happy with you. But he's got one little issue. He doesn't like the bang. And somebody threw a firework somewhere in the neighborhood, and he ran like a scared little chicken and hid in his house. And it was 105 degrees outside, and his house was already 105 degrees, but he wouldn't come out of there for nothing. And I just think that we need to, I mean, our animals have a real issue with these firecrackers and that, and all this stuff going on. I know it's a rough time, and I know we need to celebrate the 4th, and I know there's a lot around it, but with the fire restrictions and the fire causing problems and that, we need to really restrict it down there. And so I think this is a good thing that we're putting in. It's very, very dry out there. And as the commissioner said, you still campfires, all that's still good. But we just need to watch this year as it goes along. If we end up getting some more water and it's not so dry, it's a little different story. I have my personal bias because of the loud fireworks and all that. But anyway, it's good, and I wish folks would live with the law we already have on the land. There's already laws against the fireworks coming in from out of state. There's plenty of fireworks you can buy here to get off the ground a little bit, but I think this is a good thing, and I think it's well needed, and I think it's a great. There you go.
Okay.
It's my 2 cents worth.
Let's have a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the fire restriction from July 1st to August 31st with the Weber Fire District in Weber County.
I'll second that from July 10th to August 31st.
Oh, said July 1st on my thing.
That's the notice of fire restrictions,
Oh,
not the implementation
okay,
of the
July 10th,
restrictions.
sorry.
Okay, I love you.
Okay.
There's a waterway. Well, thank
I'm
you.
following your thought of the day.
Well, thank you. Yes, thank you, Commissioner Ebert.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Second.
Motion and a second then to approve the fire restrictions from the 10th to the 10th of July to the 31st of August. Hope we get through that period without any major problems. All right, any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. We will now have move to item G, which is the assignment of the Pledge of Allegiance, thought of the day for Tuesday, July 14th, 2015 at 10 a.m. The thought of the day would be Commissioner Bell again. Just kidding, that's me. He always thinks we skip him, so we have to give
You
him an
do
extra
skip
one.
me most of the
Give
time.
him an extra one here. or
We'll
there.
do a count over the last couple of years, see how many times you skip me.
All right. Well, you had 2 in a row this time, so.
Thank you.
All right, good. And Pledge of Allegiance. Anybody like to volunteer for next week? Remember, it's a 2 o'clock meeting. Shelley will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, next is public comment. Is there anyone from the public who would like to comment? If so, now would be the time to come take the microphone, state your name for the record, where you're from. Okay, don't see anybody making overtures towards the podium, so we'll move on to our next item, which is a request for a motion for a closed meeting, and there it is, Dave. I guess I didn't notice it was on there, but we need a motion for a closed meeting to discuss pending or imminent litigation.
And Commissioner, may I add, that would be strategy related to that, and we would assemble in that training room. We're supposed to note that as well.
Okay, so
expect
to discuss strategy relating to pending or imminent litigation in the training room behind us.
I'll make that motion as stated.
I second that.
Motion and a second then to go into closed meeting. Is there discussion to that motion? Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Ebert?
Aye.
Motion passes. We are in closed meeting. Thank you for being here. Just as a reminder, when we come back, we'll take some action, whether it's just to close the meeting, whatever the action is, and then we will have our planning meeting after that. So, thank you.